Hi everybody, this is Bo Yoder for rethinkyourROI.info and 3D Apex Trading. Thanks for your feedback the last couple of videos. I think what I'm going to start doing is putting these videos up on a YouTube channel so that everyone can have access to them rather than just only getting them through the proprietary email list. So a little change in format, and we'll have the link to that YouTube video in this email. Okay, so one of the biggest questions we keep getting over the last couple days has been, would you take a look at the double bottom in Apple? So here we have a daily chart of the stock of Apple, very widely followed by people. By now, you're all familiar with the concept of increases in power, decreases in power, so-called convergence or divergence. So here we have convergence to the downside. We have price moving lower and also power moving lower. So look at, it's always amazing how these predictions and these forecasts tend to have impact sometimes months in the future. So this massive convergence in power was also countered by a strong reversal in power and momentum. However, that prognostication, that prediction, that forecast, sure enough, came into effect as the market did go back down to the lows. So once again, how useful is that information? I mean, you see a big bottom in Apple, you see this move up. You actually knew that that was a shortable event. That was a weak market rally, something that was not trustworthy and perhaps could have offered you some profit potential. So let's take a look at that. Once again, always like to take the fast second strategy. So wouldn't have been all that interested in this this test here. However, look at what happened when we got this second move up. Right, the fast second move came up, offered some resistance in the form of the 100 period moving average. Good qualified candlesticks, it looks like, and look at how the power had just totally flipped over at that point. So good confirmation there, and that would have given you a great little swing trade back to areas of support. Well, now we have support being tested. This is a classic double bottom. This is a buy signal for most people. However, we talk a lot about sucker trades or trap trades. I am strongly suspecting that that's the case here. And why? Let's take a look. The last time we saw a low over here, we had a momentum reading, if I can go ahead and measure that right there, at that price. Okay, so now momentum is basically at the same level as before while testing these same lows. That's not a very strong indication. Yes, the market can overcome that kind of a sort of a non-signal, but that's a problem for me. Now, let's go ahead and look at where we are on the daily, right? We're coming up into areas of resistance. So even without the power indicator, we would expect to see the market struggle here at both the 50 and the 100 period moving average. But there's an added kicker here. Look at how low the momentum is on this rally. You can kind of see, just to reference, again, this is a dynamic tool, so you're really referencing not an absolute number. 15 is meaningless. It's really does it look like in reference to movements in the past. And you can see pretty much all the bulges we've seen in the past are pretty solid. And right now, we're really not even, doing that well. So I strongly suspect that, well, first of all, there's no trade here right now. If you were in this trade and you got the double bottom, I would strongly consider taking profits off into this resistance and calling it a good scalp kind of a trade. And I really suspect you're going to get a better entry here in the future. We may actually get a rollover at these resistance levels and then a big bulge in momentum to the downside. It wouldn't shock me for us to see, and I can't really draw it out here, unfortunately, but a push down to new lows to break this. Actually, let's go look at the weekly, and this also give us some more context. We're at this area of support for the 200 period moving average, and we do have good momentum here on the weekly. So I think this could very well be near the end of this down move for Apple. You can see how violent that was. And kudos to anybody who noticed how obvious, if you were long Apple, by the way, and you're a 3D Apex trader, there's no way in God's green earth you would have been in that market after this point here. Certainly not after this big confirmation bar. Look at the momentum. There's just, I mean, look at that. It's not even a third, well, it's probably a third of this previous move, but it's certainly not a half. And yet you've gone to new highs. That is classic divergence. There's just no way in the world you would have lost money on that move down. The thing that worries me, and this is what even though we've got good momentum here, the thing that worries me is not only do we have a strong divergent indicator up here, but now we have strong convergence to the downside. So we've got two solid pushes to the downside. This one's very, very large. There's likely to be a secondary effect here. So I think this market is putting in a sucker rally. I think it's going to come back down. It may, I don't know, let's go to a monthly, see if there's other support levels out there. Yeah, you know what? I suspect that's where we're headed. So, wow, look at the momentum on the monthly, big time. Okay, so very likely what we're having here is a sucker rally. We may rally up to the highs of this little congestion area, but then I think we're going to puke back down. We're probably going to hit this 50-period moving average on the monthly. I'll see if I can figure out what a price on that might be. 384. I'm guessing 380, just as a pure guess, without being able to scale here, and because I'm using freestockcharts.com, so a free online tool. Again, proving the point that 3D Apex can run on any computer, and even with free information, you don't need some of the more fully featured and expensive software packages to run this analysis methodology. Okay, so bottom line. All of the indications in 3D Apex here, hopefully some of these are becoming a little more intuitive for you now as I have played these out for you over several lessons and our webinar. Again, if you haven't seen the webinar, rethinkyourroi.info is the link to register. You can either watch a recorded version right away, or you can get locked in for a scheduled session later, perhaps in the week. Okay, so we've got this rally. We've got no momentum backing it. We've got huge momentum to the downside on the monthly, and on the weekly we've got some momentum to the upside, but the extreme bulge in momentum previously tells me that there's another downdraft coming. So if you were interested in being long Apple, I would wait. I think you're going to get a much better price and a much better entry, maybe a couple months away, but that's what my measurement tools are telling me, my instrumentation panel. And if you did take this double bottom, I think you got some money off. I think it was a low probability trade based on my instrumentation. And so consider yourself lucky, grab some profits, and wait for the real killer entry. If there's one thing I hope to have proved to you, it's that even though the 3D Apex instrumentation panel, the toolbox that we have here, may not tell you what you want to hear, if you listen, you're often going to, and are patient, because that's often the case, you're often going to get that secondary entry into the future. Remember, we don't want to be first movers. They're the ones who take all the slings and arrows. We want to be the fast seconds. We want to let everyone else take the risk, and then we sweep in when it's time for the reward. So there you have it. As always, thanks for listening. Once again, my name's Bo Yoder. Good luck, good trading, and I hope to see you in one of our webinars. Just click on the link here. I'm going to go ahead and put it up on this video if you haven't had a chance to see a webinar or join us in one of these sessions.